I have a question for you. What do you think that God wants to do in your life right now in this season? The answer to that question is often that God wants to do more than we think. In fact, God often wants to do more than we can even imagine. In his letter to the Ephesians, Paul offers a prayer, and he says this in that prayer, something really amazing. Ephesians 3:20. He says, "Now to him who is able to do immeasurably more than we ask or imagine, according to his power at work within us." So did you hear that? Paul says that God is able to do immeasurably more than we even ask for, and more than we even imagine, according to his power at work in us. And that has huge implications for our lives. What if God really does want to do more in your life than you've asked for? What if God really does want to do more in your life than you've even imagined? What if God wants to do so much more in your life than you've realized? Well, I actually think that there's a high chance that that is true. So the question might be then, well, if that's true for many of us much of the time, well, what holds us back? The truth is, often the thing that's holding us back is us. So here's another question for you. What if you've been setting the bar way too low on what God is able to do, on what God really wants to do in you? And what if all it would take for you to live into so much more was to just take a step forward, to take a step out in faith with God? Because I believe, again, that there's a really high chance that that's true too. So how do we do that? Well, often it's simpler to figure out than we might think. I just encourage you to pray for a week or so and just really listen and seek to discern from God what he might want you to do. And in fact, make a list. And as you make that list, I'm going to guess that there's going to be some things on that are simple, that are really no-brainers, that are the low-hanging fruit. And you should definitely go ahead and do those things. And that's a great way to start. But if you're really being honest with God, and I encourage you to be, my guess is that there will be some things on that list that are challenging, that are uncomfortable, that are scary. And in all honesty, in order for you to really live forward with God, you probably need to be doing one or more of those things. You see, God's desire is not to live our life for us. God's desire is to partner with us. God wants to help us to live into being all that he's made us to be and into doing all that he's called us to do. But in order for that to happen, we have to seek to move forward with him. And there's a good possibility for many of us at any point in our life that in fact God is waiting on us to muster our faith up enough to take a step forward, to take a step out into something new, to something different. Because as long as we keep doing what we've been doing, especially if most of that stuff lies well within our comfort zone, then it's a lot less likely that we're going to live forward into the fullness of all the things that God holds for us. But when we are willing to take a step out in faith, a step forward in faith into one of those challenging places, well, that's often where we tend to grow the most, because in the face of those challenges, we really tend to lean on God a lot more. And his power is unleashed in us to grow us, to call forth from us the very best in us, and to lead us to more than we've asked for, to do in us, in many cases, more than we've even imagined. So that, my friends, is my hope and my prayer for each of us.